Yeah, sure, Bafetu. Welcome back to another episode of Andreas Automotive. My name is Tanta Andres, and as you can see, Bafetu, hey, today we have the big boy work suit on, Bafetu. We have the big boy work suit on. It's because today we'll be challenging not a heavy task, but a dirty task, a dirty task, because we have to be working with parts that need lubrication, parts that need oil, parts that will leave your clothes black. Abo. But then, yeah, today we'll be installing piston rings. I'll be covering a video on how to install piston rings and installing them to the block, because as you guys can see, recently when shopping, abo, I bought gasket sets, I bought new rings for the pistons. Because in my first video, I explained to you that I had done my rings, but then the problem was that the rings that I had bought were oversized. Maybe I can show you a demonstration. So right today, I went to Lenasia to go buy new engine parts at a store called A&A Motors. Yeah, they provided me with what I would like to say is the right size of the rings, but then we can only be sure once we put them inside. So by put them inside, I mean put them inside with the piston. But as of now, we're just trying to measure this gap, to see this gap right there, to see if it'll overlap or it will remain the same. Because the problem that we've had with our last rings is that they used to overlap. They used to overlap each other, which caused the piston to actually seize inside the block. But as you can see, to that small line, I can't turn on the torch, but as you can see, that small line, that's our piston gap. So it being like this from factory, it gives me positive and become positive. Yeah, I refer to my phone's giving me problems, dog. I don't got space. But yeah, I'll try to shoot whatever videos that I can shoot. But I am creating space right now. I'm moving some files over to my mom's phone. But then I am creating space. But as I was saying, I'm feeling pretty positive about these rings. Feeling pretty positive about these rings, because from standard sizes, they don't need grinding, they don't need anything. It'll just be a matter of me, after installing the piston, I'll try to rotate the crank. If it rotates a bit hard or doesn't rotate as smooth as I want it, then that's when I'll actually attempt to grind on the rings. But if it doesn't give me any problems, if I feel confident about the assembly, then I don't see a reason to grind the valves. But yeah, enough has been said. Buffet 2, I am going to cover the whole procedure again. First time I didn't record a video, I hadn't begun my YouTube page, but I'm going to cover removing, in this video I'm going to cover removing pistons, removing piston rings, removing oil pump for a Golf 1, Golf 2, Golf 3, or Jetta 1, Jetta 2, Jetta 3. And then after, I will cover installing rings, installing oil pump, also the bearings. But I put on the bearings just removing that dirt, then carburetor cleaner, just to clean it up, remove that excess dirt. But then yeah, after that, after rings and oil pump, I'll basically just be reassembling the entire engine after that, because right now we're only at the last step of getting this engine complete, installing rings, installing the pistons, oil sump, alternator, water pump, aircon pump, power steering. I don't know what other pump I have to install there, but yeah. After that, head go inside. After that, timing. The timing, so we will see well or now if we can cover those entire things that I mentioned in like a space of today and tomorrow. Because I'm really hoping that by Wednesday the car actually gets out of the driveway. But yeah, enough chit chatting. Let us get into the video, Buffett. So first we're going to cover removing the pistons. So as you can see, I'm currently going under the car. And yeah, I have my board here. Remember guys, safety first. You don't want to hurt yourself while doing such work on top. But as you can see, this is my crank. I already took out one piston, so it's just left to take out the other three. I took it out, reason being because I needed a sample. But then yeah, taking out pistons to an engine is pretty straightforward. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me try to rotate the engine. Pistons that I want to remove, I basically made it easier for me to remove them by pushing them lower inside the block. So the pistons as of currently that I want to remove is piston number 1 and piston number 4. But then, sorry guys, the camera fell. I can't get proper camera angle. But the pistons that I want to remove now is piston number 1 and piston number 4. And it's pretty straightforward to remove these. I had already removed mine, meaning my nuts. For me saying that is that because my nuts are actually a lot loose because I had removed the piston. If I didn't actually torque them after installing the bearings because I wasn't sure about the rings. But yeah, as you can see, the piston is basically held together by 2 nuts, one this side, one that on the other side. And then once you remove those, you just have to wiggle this cap, conrod cap. If it doesn't move with the wiggle, always use I advise using a rubber mallet in order to knock it just out or knocking it on the sides just so that it can come out. Yeah, as you can see, the rod cap and the rod bearing is now out. I would please note that removing these nuts will actually prove to be quite harder because mine were loose. But then trying to remove them on a rebuilt or fully torqued engine would be actually troublesome, because these bolts are really hard, they're really stubborn. The difference with mine is because I didn't torque them down, but when working on a torqued engine, yeah, it's going to be much tougher than this demonstration that I'm doing. But yeah, after removing the rod bearing and the rod cap, you can then push this piston out of the block. So by pushing, I usually push it on these threads. I put something here and I push. It proves easier for me. I don't know how other people do it, but it seems easier for me. So push, last push, and the piston is out. We can then move over to piston number 4, which is this piston right here. And as I said before, these nuts weren't fully torqued. I just put them there because I didn't want to lose any nuts or lose any rod bearings. So I just fastened them, but I didn't torque them, guys. Please remember that. I just fastened them, I didn't torque them. When working on a fully torqued engine, these will prove to actually be quite troublesome than what they are now. But then it's pretty much the same procedure. Removing the two nuts that are joined to the rod bearing and the rod cap. And then after that, it's just giving it a slight push. Even if you can give it a push, it will come out there. And this oil pump is in my way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this oil pump, and it's quite easy removing the oil pump. It's basically held together by these two nuts right here. I think they are size 13 nuts if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. And the beat still bumps as the sun says goodbye. Now throw your hands Oh, where are the spanners? Here they are. I think they're size 13 and they are size 13. Just have to get up by 2 bolts. Then you have to remove. Okay. I wasn't sure about my rotation, my direction of rotation, but it seems like it's the one. Bear in mind, guys, this is a new oil pump. I bought it, I installed it, but I never used it. But I'm hoping that by Wednesday, man, everything that I've been doing will pan out for the better. You know? I don't want any problems. I want this car to start to fight. But then, after removing those 2 nuts or bolts, the oil pump should just come right out. Oil pump should just come right out. And now with the oil pump out, we're free to remove this piston and its rod bearings and its rod caps. Just give it a slight tap there. As you can see, the rod cap is out, and then what's left to do, push the piston out. Push the piston out. Push it out. It's out. Yeah. As you guys can see, it's quite a pretty straightforward procedure, man. It's quite a pretty straightforward procedure. I mean, like, even a beginner mechanic can get this one right, though. Even a beginner mechanic can get this one right. But then, yeah, the pistons, they're out. I'm basically left with this one piston. And this one, guys, it's fully torqued. Until this one, it was torqued. I didn't have time to unloose it, man. This one is fully torqued. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the engine so that this piston number 3, can come below, and it will be easier for me to untie those screws. Yeah. That buffet too, the pistons are out of the engine. Look at this guy, man. Look at this fool. Look at this fool, bro. This fool of a ring, bro. Fucking seizing inside my ratings. And you can see already, these things were moving freely. Look, they were not moving freely. As you can see, they were starting to create scratches here, man, due to the oversized rings. But yeah, just like that buffet too, the pistons are out, and now we are about to install the rings buffet too, installing them to the pistons. And then yeah, let's continue buffet too. Let's continue. Quite a pretty easy procedure. Just need a few things. Of course, you need your piston, you need your rings right there for each piston, and then you're going to need this guy we're calling a piston ring compressor. So what it happens is that when your piston head, let me try to create a demonstration. So what happens is that when you have your piston head, and then you have your rings. So this guy, what he does, let me open him up. So this guy, what he does, or how you use this guy, is that you put this guy inside here. You put your piston inside there. As you can see, there's still a bunch of spaces there. It means that your rings haven't been compressed. But then once you twist on it, give it a nice twist on it till it can't twist anymore. Then as you can see, all those gaps are closed, meaning that your rings have been pressed. So you only need those things. Only need your piston, your ring, and your ring compressor. So what I'm going to do now is that I'll be demonstrating how to install the rings onto a piston, and then after that I'll continue with them. I'm only going to be demonstrating on one piston. After that I'll install the rings for the other 3 pistons, and then we'll be ready to install them to the block. there's a slight piece of info that I forgot to mention, which is before installing your rings to your pistons, you need to clean the mating surfaces of the piston and the piston rings, even the bearings. So yeah, before installing the rings and the bearings, you must first clean them. It's either with petrol, carburetor cleaner, or one method that I found using paint thinners. There's something that is called thinners. They use it to basically clean the surfaces of the cars before spraying them. I don't know if they mix it with paint, I don't know. But then yeah, I can use that to clean your engine parts as well. So me, I just had like a bunch of it laying around, almost like 2.5 liters of it laying around. So I'm going to be using it to clean the mating surfaces of the rings on the piston and to be cleaning the bearings. Let's get into it. So yeah guys, the procedure for removing the old piston rings is quite easy. It's basically the same as installing them. So this is basically the piston. We have our groove. What you do is basically bring it up. Bring it up. It's quite troublesome because it has a whole bunch of oil. Then basically bring the ring up like that, all around. Then what you do, twist, bring it out. I'll show you again with this one. What you do is that your center point or your groove, take that, bring it up like that. Like that, twist on it. As you twist, it comes out. Last demonstration. This is our groove. Take the groove up and then you twist on it. Not rough but gently. Twist on it. The ring will come out. And then I'll demonstrate again because we have two more rings. I will demonstrate with this one piston and then I'll do the others. So as you see, you can see the groove. Go to the groove, put it there, and then you simply twist. The rings are out. So let me continue with the rest. So this was me just basically continuing to remove the rest of the rings. And the reason for me, remember guys, the reason for me removing these rings is because they were oversized, guys. So a tip that I'd like to let you guys know is that when changing the rings and bearings to your car, you must always be cautious of the size of the rings. But it's better to take a piston as a sample than taking the old rings as a sample. But yeah, I basically completed removing all the piston rings, the old piston rings. It was just left with installing the new piston rings. Oh, this one is already out. Yeah, so guys, I'm hoping that you got an understanding of what it is that I was doing. But I was basically removing these rings. As you can see, they're still fresh, they're still shining. They never actually ignited inside. They never actually worked inside an ignited engine. Reason is because they are oversized for my engine. So I actually tried grinding them. I'm not sure if you guys can see there. Yeah, it's pretty blurry. But I tried grinding the valves and still didn't help. My only option was to actually get proper rings that were made for my engine specification. So that's that. And now we are about to clean the rings and the piston ring mating surfaces, and we're about to clean the bearings because I'm not confident with these bearings. They've been sitting there collecting dust, bro. I'm not sure if you can see all those dust particles. They've been sitting in the engine collecting dust, so we're going to be cleaning those as well. Sure. At this moment in time, I was just basically preparing to wash my bearings and my piston head off with some thinners. And as you can see, I was pouring it into that small container and brushing off the piston with a slight brush to make sure that there are no dust particles on my piston grooves when installing the rings. We managed to wash the piston ring mating surfaces. Also managed to wash the bearing mating surfaces. Basically, we washed the piston all in all with some thinners. The pistons are looking nice, they're looking gray. Now it's time for the next step, which is installing the rings. So I'm also going to be showing you how to install rings properly. It basically also has like a short, I don't want to say tutorial, but description on your box for the piston rings. Basically on this box basically has like a short brief description of how it is your piston rings must lay. One ring must face that way, the other must face that way, the other one must face there, the other one must face behind. But then I'll be showing you as to how you properly install rings to your piston. So basically the layout for the piston rings I was talking about is here. After you open the box, you get this. So here gives you a brief description. A is the oil ring, B is the center ring, so it's this one, or yeah, the scraper ring. B is the scraper ring, and then C is the compression ring. So the oil rings go in first, meaning the oil ring basically go in here, and then the scraper ring, the oil scraper ring, goes into the second groove, and then the compression ring goes into the third groove. Let me repeat. So the oil ring, if you're not sure guys which ones are oil rings, these ones are oil rings. They basically come in a set of 3, which is the one oil ring, this spiral oil ring, and another oil ring. So the 3 of them go in at the same time, and they go into the first groove. And then next we have the scraper ring. You'll see that the scraper ring, it's a bit hard. It's like made out of thick metal, unlike the compression ring. It's made out of a much more finer thick metal. So the oil scraper ring goes into the second groove, and then we have the compression ring. And then you'll see the compression ring, the difference between the compression ring and the scraper ring, you'll actually be quite able to see it. As you can see, the oil ring is much thicker and the compression ring is much thinner. And the compression ring, I think its color is like a whole black, like matte black, while the compression ring has like a silver touch right on the edges. As you can see, it's a bit shiny. That's the silver touch. When you look at the scraper ring, doesn't have that silver touch. Instead, it has like underneath it has like a small scraper. There's like a small scraper to help scrape the oil. That's how you spot the difference between a scraper ring and a compression ring. With that being said, let's continue with installing the rings. So guys, here's our piston. So I'm going to mark it like this, né? North, south, east, west. Or if you don't understand that terminology as of yet, it's never ever smoke weed. Never ever smoke weed. North, east, south, west. North, east, south, west. So as of currently, when I'm putting the piston like this is our north. Basically, this is our north, this is our south, this is our east, this is our west. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to begin on south. I'm beginning on south with the oil rings. So I'm going to demonstrate. So here we have our two, we have not, let me not say two, we have our one oil ring out of 3 oil rings. Now guys, there's 3 oil rings. We have our one oil ring. So the first ring or the first oil ring must be facing south. Must be facing south. So as you guys can see, this is my south. So I'm flipping it over so that you guys can see on the camera. South. Going to be like this. Then twist, tuck it in there. So as you guys can see, this ring of ours is pointing south. Next, what we do, we go for the spiral ring. Spiral ring also faces south, faces the direction of the first oil ring. Faces the direction of the first oil ring. It's also pretty easy to install. Basically just have to take one end, put it inside the groove and in the direction that you want to be facing, and then basically just twist. The other end must be at the top of the piston, and then once you have that done, you can basically just twist. So guys, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but then both of these rings are facing in one direction. As you can see, this groove right there and also that groove right here. So the third ring faces the opposite direction of these 2 rings. So whereas if these 2 rings are facing south, then meaning that if these 2 rings are facing south, then our third ring is going to be facing north. Then our third, I'm going to repeat, if these 2 rings are facing south, that means our third ring is going to be facing north. So I hope I made enough sense for you guys, or you guys are not lost with me on this one. But we're going to be installing this third ring now.
Grooving, feel that funky breeze. Boxing and setting spirits at ease. Come on, from the hills to the shore, ain't no second guessing.
And there you have it. Our oil rings are now in. As you see, this is our north, this is our south, this is our east, this is our west. So these 2 rings are facing south. Sorry, these 2 rings are facing south. And then this one ring is facing north. So that's how you correctly install the oil rings. Next, we're moving over to the oil scraper ring. This is our scraper ring. So when installing the scraper ring, always have to be cautious when installing this scraper ring. Between the difference between the top side and the bottom side. So the top side, for one, it's actually quite clear. As you can see, it's smooth. There's nothing like, that's going to cause any interference. And then the bottom side of it, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but then it has like this little scraper at the bottom. Not sure if you guys can see, but it has like that little scraper there at the bottom. So this scraper side goes at the bottom, and this smooth, clean side goes at the top. Plus nowadays these rings, they're usually labeled, as you guys can see. I'm not sure if you can see, it's written there GOE top. So top, it means it's the top side, and the bottom side is the bottom side. It's pretty straightforward, but you always have to be cautious when installing this ring. You want to install it like this and not like this, because when you install it like this, the proper way, when the piston moves up and down, it scrapes the oil. But then when you install it vice versa, it can't scrape the oil. Instead, the oil will just keep passing through the gaps. Yeah, so we're going to be installing the scraper ring. So the scraper ring, the scraper ring faces west. The scraper ring faces west. Remember, this is north, south, east, west, meaning the scraper ring must be facing this direction. Basically must be facing the left side of the wrist pin. Must be facing the left side of the wrist pin. The way you install the scraper ring is pretty straightforward. One end must be inside the groove, the other end must be at the top of the piston, and then you simply just twist. Make sure whenever it seems like it's getting stuck, you adjust it to get inside the groove, but then you just twist like that, just like that. And as you can see, our compression ring or our scraper ring has been installed proper. The top side is at the top. I'm not sure if you guys can see there, that's written GOE top. Our top side is at the top, and our scraper ring is facing west. Remember guys, never ever smoke weed, it's facing west. So currently in the processes that we have done, these two rings, which is the spiral oil ring and the first oil ring, they are facing south. Then north, we have our one oil ring. Then west, we have our scraper ring, meaning that east, this side will be for our compression ring. So let's install the compression ring. The compression ring is also pretty straightforward, but you need to make sure that you don't mix it up. Also, as you can see, the GOE is the top side and the bottom side is the bottom side. I can't pretty much tell the difference between the top side and the bottom side. All I know is that the way it's written, GOE, it's the top side, the top side. So don't make the mistake of trying to take GOE under. Always put it at the top side. So with that being said, the compression ring must now face east, must go in like that. I should have made a pretty this would have been a nicer demonstration. So the compression ring must be facing that side, and then our scraper ring, I get whether we installed our scraper ring, so meaning our scraper ring is facing this side, our compression ring is going to be facing that side. Let's install the compression ring. When installing these rings, basically like polar opposites, because the oil ring is facing that side, that other oil ring is facing in the opposite direction. Then the scraper ring is facing one side, then the compression ring is facing in the opposite direction of the scraper ring. It's a pretty easy procedure to get used to, But then the problem is you mustn't make a mistake of taking the top side to the top and the bottom side to the bottom. You must always make sure that your rings are in proper. And as you guys can see, all 3 or all 5 of our rings are in. Our oil ring, our scraper ring, our compression ring. We can now move on to the last piston. After demonstrating how to install piston rings onto a piston, I then went on and installed the piston rings to the rest of the other 3 pistons. And yeah guys, after that, man, it was just a matter of installing my bearings, my rod bearings onto my rods, guys. But yeah, we've been making some pretty good progress.
Cafe lights shimmer, their glow softly spills on lovers and loners and lifelong ideals.
We're making good progress. All of our rings are inside our pistons. I'm sure if you guys can tell, all our rings are inside our pistons. Our pistons are labeled accordingly. Basically, from my knowledge, I'm going to explain this because now we're moving over to installing these guys inside the block. So the number information for VWs, guys, I'm not sure if it's all VW models, but usually MK1, MK2, and MK3, the piston numbers are usually engraved onto the rods. I'm not sure if you guys can see. Move out of the way. But here, that's 1. Move, as you can see, 2. Move, as you can see, it's number 3. You can see it's number 4. Same for the caps. You can see it's 4, 3, 2. I don't know if you can see this 2, but yeah, here it is. 2, 1. So there's no way that we can get things mixed up here, guys. There's no way that we can get things mixed up here. It's just a matter of following the numeration, Buffett. But then now we are currently preparing to install the pistons inside the block. In order to do that, we first have to clean our block and our crank, or where our bearings were made with the crank. Have to first clean it up, make sure that there aren't any dust particles, and then we'll continue with installing the pistons into the block. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can get a proper camera angle for this guy, but I'll try by all means. At this moment in time, guys, I was just preparing to install my rod bearings onto my piston or my rods. So it was also quite a pretty straightforward procedure, which was to wipe out any dust particles, that have been remaining on my con rods and on my rod bearings. After that, just lubricating the mating surfaces between my rod bearings and my bearings, and then after that, lubricating my rod bearings and my crankshaft. But yeah, it was quite a nice and fruitful experience that I experienced, and I'm super proud of myself, guys. Super proud of myself because I've made it this far, Buffett. Made it this far. So now, just to check, I just installed the bearings to the pistons. As you guys can see, what's left is taking these guys and putting them inside the block. But before we can do that, bro, we have to move over through a checklist because I don't wanna make any mistakes. So I have to move over through to the checklist. And the checklist says, are the pistons numbered correctly? So meaning, do we know which piston is going where? So this is piston number 1 for me, piston number 2, piston number 3, piston number 4. Meaning I know where all my pistons are going to go. Second step, are all your piston rings facing in the proper direction? Don't know if you guys can see, but from what I explained, my piston ring orientation, it's never ever smoke weed. I get never ever smoke weed. So here is where one of our, or 2 out of 3 of our oil rings are facing, ne? And then the third one is facing this side. Then we move over to our scraper ring. Our scraper ring is facing this direction. As you can see, there's a groove right there. And then this is our scraper ring. And then our compression ring is facing the opposite direction for the scraper ring. This is so for the for the other 3 pistons. So meaning I can check the fact that my rings are facing in the right direction. Third step, did we oil our rings? We did not, as of currently, we did not oil our rings, but we have to make sure that our rings are oiled before going into the block. So with that being said, I feel like those are my 3 steps that I have to check. We can move over to that guy right here. We can move over to this guy right here. So before installing the pistons inside the block, we also need to go through our checklist. Did we clean the engine block of any carbon bits or any dust? Or did we clean the boreholes for the pistons? Yes, we cleaned all 4 boreholes with clear paint thinners. It also serves like a solvent or chemical solvent. Yeah. Then next step, did we oil our bores? No, we did not oil our bores. As you can see, as of currently, these are currently dry. But then we'll do so when we oil also our rings. when we oil our rings for our piston, we'll also oil our bore. And then third check, man, did we wipe or clean any dust off the crank? As you can see, it's silver, it's shining, no dust particles. We can tick off a yes. We did for a fact clean up our crank. So now, man, the one thing that I'm missing to tell you is that before installing the piston inside the block, we also need to oil up our mating surfaces or our bearings. So guys, you also have to check that step, but then we'll check it as we go about through the video. So guys, I am going to end the video here, as I didn't expect for this video to be quite this long, man. So I'm going to actually cut it into two parts. So yeah, this will be the end of my first part. I don't know when I'll upload the second part, maybe like the next day or so. But yeah, I appreciate the support, guys. I appreciate the views, man. And let's keep pushing with the project, Buffett. Let's keep pushing with the project. Andreas Automotive signing out.